Seems like Matt Eberflus is on the phone. Hello? So, what about that play, man? Like, come on. Like, hello? What the heck? The dude blocked me. And that's about as good as the intro you can possibly get, or cold open, as you can say. What is up, guys? Welcome back to So Back Sports, and I'm so back with another video. And I know the lighting is a lot better now. Listen, I got a light ring now. We're so back, guys. And before we get into today's video, please don't forget to like and subscribe. It really means a lot to the channel. It really helps me create content like this for you guys. So please subscribe. Anyways, today we are going to be doing our predictions for the Minnesota Vikings and Chicago Bears game coming up this Sunday. And listen, after a brutal loss to the Green Bay Packers, you know, it's only best that we face another division opponent who is, fighting for that number one spot. And obviously, the Chicago Bears have a gauntlet to end the season, and we're probably going to miss the playoffs. But I'm still going to give my predictions at the end of the day, so feel free to subscribe and let's get into it. Now, as of right now, the Chicago Bears are 4-6, and the Minnesota Vikings are now 8-2. And listen, both these teams are, coming off of, unique situations right now. Minnesota is trying to maintain, their race for that number one spot against the Detroit Lions, which they've held for quite some time. And Detroit right now is their only loss right now is to Baker Mayfield and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and they don't seem to be slowing down whatsoever. So Minnesota needs this game, for potential seeding for the playoffs. But Chicago, on the other hand, is trying to find their footing after another brutal, heartbreaking loss to, a division rival. And that, especially with the Hail Mary that happened in earlier this month or last month, coming after, playing after a loss like that is going to be pretty tough. And listen, we don't have Shane Waldron anymore. It's now Thomas Brown, who's had a phenomenal game in his first coaching debut as an offensive coordinator. He will be in the booth, I'm pretty sure. So, I liked how he was. He was very energetic and enthusiastic in the booth, something that we needed, as Chicago Bears fans, because we have robots or even like passive, smiling people, offensive coordinators on the sideline. And that's just not going to cut it for our culture. And listen, this is going to be a tough game at the end of the day because the Minnesota has a lot to play for, and they're a great team, both defensively and offensively. You have players like Justin Jefferson, I don't know, Sam Darnold, who's having a decent year, who's kind of starting to fall off a little bit, but he's still a threat nonetheless. You have, a lot of players on the Chicago Bears talent-wise, but the big key thing is going to be that Vikings defense, and Brian Flores is going to blitz Bama blitz essentially. Like that's his bread and butter when it comes to a defense because he blitzes a lot of the times and rather than playing zone coverage. So that for Caleb Williams, this is going to be definitely a big task because Caleb has been pretty good against the blitz, especially last game when he was facing pressure. He was able to get the ball out real quick. That's going to be necessary against this kind of a team. And I think Brian Flores is really prepared to for Caleb to escape that pocket, and he's going to put some kind of spy or some kind of zone coverage or deep drop back because he has the ability to run. Caleb, that is. So that being said, let's take a look real quick at before I can get at this the whole report essentially. So as of right now, 59% chance to win. Pretty standard if I say so myself, but I'm kind of surprised that we have a 40% shot to win. And I think that number really came from us being super competitive and having a chance to win against Green Bay. And right now the injury report doesn't seem too bad for the Bears side. Obviously, losing Jaquan Brisker sucks, and him being on IR is going to suck for the secondary, which means that Tyreek Stevenson, he hasn't been playing that great, but I really hope that Flus makes that change and utilizes Terrell Smith rather than Tyreek Stevenson because, Tyreek Stevenson, say what you want about him, and after that Hail Mary, he has not looked like himself whatsoever. And I would much rather have Terrell Smith with Kyler Gordon than Tyreek Stevenson, but that's just me. And, the offensive line needs to get healthy, and this is a great sign. Obviously, I'm recording this on a Tuesday, meaning that the what is it called? The injury report isn't out yet. But given that it's saying that they're questionable, Karan Abagaje, Tevin Jenkins, and Ryan Bates are questionable, is a relatively good sign rather than outright out. But that's here nor there. We'll have to wait till, you know, the whole injury report comes out, and then we can really make a decision on, how good this offensive line will be, because they need to be good for against this Brian Flores led defense. And listen, as of right now, Chicago is coming off of a 4-game losing streak, whereas the Vikings are coming off of a 3-game winning streak against the three AFC division opponents. So they have some momentum building up, and we're having need of a must-win scenario. Are we going to do it? Because the thing is, if the game is close, it's going to be up to chance at that point, because Eberflus, right? And as of right now, Eberflus has continuously, time after time after time, gotten into scenarios where it's a one-score game and blew it. We've seen that too many times at this point. So, if the game is close, at this point, you guys have to pray to God that we somehow win this game. But as of right now, you can see the offense and how the season leaders stand up. Caleb Williams hit the 2,000-yard mark, which is kind of great to see, because he's only like a couple, like 200 yards or 100 yards away from breaking the record for a rookie for the Chicago Bears. I know it's a low bar to compete, because it's Chicago Bears we're talking about, and two good things cannot happen at the same time. So, but at the end of the day, I really like what I see. 2016 yards. Love to see that. And we have 7 games left to kind of increase that stat line. And my hope is that Caleb can get some kind of touchdowns this season or this game, because for the last, what now? He didn't have a touchdown touchdown pass since Jacksonville, which was in October 13th, mid-October. So he hasn't had it for almost a full calendar month of a passing touchdown. But it's been more of the run game. And I think that's what's going to be necessary, because if you're blitzing a lot and like a Brian Flores blitzes, like your run game will be a little bit stifled and it's going to suck. So you'll have to pass a lot more. So they're going to be focusing on Caleb to pass the ball. And this will give him opportunities to get that touchdown. Another thing as well, for weapons-wise, Cole Kmet and DJ Moore have to be utilized. You saw, like Thomas Brown saw or recognized that utilizing Cole Kmet, DJ Moore, Rome Odunze, who is now the leading receiver of this team, which is great, because that means your future is pretty much set for Rome Odunze. And utilizing your weapons that you have, Keenan Allen on 3rd and long or 3rd and short, he still has something left in the tank for him. So you have all these weapons. Utilize them properly. Utilize Swift as a receiving option too, because if you use Komet and DJ Moore properly, like how they utilized him in the screen game or even in the receiving game for Cole Kmet, good things happen and the ball keeps moving downfield. And I loved one thing, I think, that kind of that allowed Packers fans or even like the Packers like coaching staff kind of be like, "Uh-oh, this is kind of crazy," is because the quarterback isn't complacent. He wants to be aggressive, especially in that moment when Caleb wanted to go for it on 4th down in Packer territory. That's a great sign. And you have to be aggressive. I don't care what you got to do, Caleb. You really do have to be aggressive. And especially against a team like this where Minnesota isn't necessarily unbeatable. Like, they're playing against Jacksonville and like, the Indy and stuff, and they're close games somehow. I mean, not Indy specifically, but Jacksonville. Like, if we can blow the brakes off of Jacksonville, we can kind of, make it competitive against the Vikings. And that's my thinking. And in the grand scheme of things, when it comes to the coaching staff, because, that's going to be a question, right? Do the Chicago Bears tank the rest of the season? Because at this point, with 6 losses, and with our gauntlet for the rest of the season, it's going to be way, way, way more tougher now to make the playoffs than it was if we had won against Arizona and New England. So it's just, at this point, like, just garner as many wins as possible. I don't think it's gonna make a huge difference when it comes to Matt Eberflus's job. I mean, even if it's like a one win or like sorry, if it's like 8 and 9 kind of scenario, I still think he's gone. But you can't trust this front office and what they'll probably do when it comes to the coaching staff hiring process. But that's not the focus right now. The focus right now is Caleb Williams' development, making sure that he gets all the reps possible against good defenses, against great comp, and shows why he was picked number one overall, why he has the intangibles to, make a play when the team needs him. We saw that against a great Packers defense. And with Thomas Brown, we have to still see if he can continue his ability to coach Caleb Williams on the sideline to have a great offense. Because listen, when it comes to interim head offensive coordinators and stuff, like your offense tends to be stifled because initially teams when you're during your first game, your opponent doesn't necessarily know what you're capable of or what schemes you're going to call. But now that they have a one game sample size, they will utilize that to the max when it comes to understanding what you are more likely to lean on. And I hope that Thomas Brown implemented some level of a plan or 15 play plan for Caleb. And maybe that was the case in the previous game, but I just really want him to continue to be aggressive, call great plays. And the team has to be great at blocking. We saw what they could do with great blocking, how it opened up multiple opportunities for big yardage gains, and even the DeAndre Swift touchdown, which was a great block from I forgot who blocked, but Braxton Jones, I'm pretty sure was. So that's going to be really key. And in terms of our defense, Montez Sweat has to get going. It really he just has to get going. Like there's no other way to put it. It sucks that he's getting double teamed a lot, but that's what we paid him for. Like genuinely, that's what we paid him for. And 3.5 sacks in now 10 games is not going to cut it, right? And he knows that. He recognized that. That's fine. Just you have to get to the quarterback, man. That's the only thing. And Javon Dexter continues to have a good game. Byard, like Jalen Johnson as well, because last game he let off a really bad, like, run or really bad catch to Christian Watson. That game went for a big gain under his watch, and he's been really good. He's been the most consistent part of this offense, and the fact that he made such a boneheaded play or like he missed that badly was kind of like not usually what he does. So that's one thing to consider. So Jalen Johnson has to play well and, pressure Sam Darnold as much as possible. The more you pressure Sam Darnold, the more likely he will make mistakes. And disguise coverages is what's going to be the detriment to him. And Jalen has to be on Justin Jefferson. That Justin Jefferson has to be like mitigated. He has to be not a threat in this game. He is too much of a threat to this defense that if we just let him by, it's going to be wraps for us when it comes to defending anything. And a lot of teams recognize that. So he's been consistently good. So if you lock him down and prevent Aaron Jones from getting big gains, because Aaron Jones still hasn't left the division, man, he just continues to haunt us still, even as not even as a Packer. But the fact that Justin Jefferson has 59 receptions for 912 yards is stupid insane. So that's about it for that part. And what do I think will probably happen? Well, listen, I know the season hasn't been the most glamorous or what we've been kind of hoping for because, our coach has been not great. Let's be really honest. And even if you can make the argument that he has been horrible, and he has genuinely, generationally a choker. But, gotta focus on Caleb. The most important thing is focusing on Caleb Williams' development. That's really the most important thing. And if we can just do that and he can get the stats, the wins, and I think wins are going to be very beneficial to him in his development because so far we had 2 games where he led game-winning drives and it was eliminated due to the fact of a Hail Mary and a blocked kick. Both special teams and defense caused Caleb Williams to lose 2 big games that could boost his confidence. Imagine if we had won against Washington. What that could have done for the game against the Cardinals and the Patriots and even the Packers for Caleb Williams' confidence. Like, that's going to be crucial. And just got to pray that Matt Eberflus doesn't get in the way, which is very unlikely at this point. But yeah, I guess it's just I have like low expectations as well in this game. I just want to see a good game again from Caleb. I feel like we do have a chance to win, but unless we blow them out, I don't see us winning this game, because if it's a one-score game, anything, literally anything can happen. Just think about anything, the way to lose, that'll probably happen, because Matty Eberflus has found every single way possible to lose. So yeah, as for my final prediction, I think that unfortunately, actually, the Chicago Bears do win this game by a good margin, and that is the Bears win, let's just say 32-25. That's pretty reasonable to me. That's going to be it for today's video. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. It really means a lot to the channel. We're almost at 600 subscribers. I think we're about, I want to say, 66 subscribers away. So let's get to that before the end of the month. And as always, appreciate the support going live. I don't think there's going to be another episode of the podcast this week due to the fact that I'm going to be out of town. So always remember to like, to subscribe, watch some other videos as well. And as always, I'll see you guys in the next one.